Alright, so I got a little fix-it-up job to tend to on the RV here. After camping last weekend, we had a little issue with our outside speakers. I should say speaker, because we actually already had an issue with one. It had stopped working. This one right here had stopped working quite a long time ago. I was able to get it working a couple times by the old method that my dad taught me was, if something ain't working, hit it. So I would hit it with my hand and it would come back on. So there was probably a short, probably something fairly simple. But after doing that a couple times, it went off and never came back on. Now the issue we ran into this last weekend was right in here. And let me see if I can see it. If you can see this silver part right there hanging down, that is what appears to be the tweeter coil or cone. Had vibrated out probably when we hit those washboard roads. And I mean, we were still able to enjoy the radio somewhat, but the issue we were having was when there would be a certain song on that would be pretty bass heavy, you'd be hearing zzz, or, you'd hear that little piece that's floating around loose in there vibrating. So in a way, this is forcing me to go ahead and fix the speaker that's not working. So I kind of been putting it off and thinking, we got one speaker, we don't keep it that loud at the campsites anyway. It's good enough. Is it stereo? No, but it works. So now that we got this issue, I'm going to go ahead and pop these out and replace them, and I'm going to take you along on the journey to see just how difficult this is going to be. So my plan tonight is to take these out and make sure I have the correct sizes before I order the new replacements. And I'm going to order those on Amazon and should have them in a couple days. What I'll do is I'm going to take probably like a garbage bag and just kind of tape it up over the holes so nothing gets in there. And in case we have any rain, which I don't think we're going to have any rain. This is the dry time of year for us right now. June is like one of the, well, into May right now, but May and June are some of the driest months we have here in Florida, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. But so that's the plan. I'm going to get started and I'm going to pop these speakers out, at least pop one out, and just so I can get the measurements. And I think I want to try to get the new ones that have the LED lights on the inside. I'm going to see how hard that might be to go ahead and replace those with those. Be kind of cool to have the accent lights out here. All right, so let's get started. All right. So just as I figured, one of the connections had came loose on the back. So I'm actually going to test this speaker and see if it works. Although I'm going to replace it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But just to test it, see.
Every weekday, 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. It's the 80s.
I figured that's all it was a loose connection. That one just doesn't want to stay on there that well. All right. As I was starting to say, it's probably a good thing I took this off because I can see that there's been a little bit of water intrusion right here. You can see the rust around the screw hole. And when I pulled the screw out, it had rust on it, which is a sure sign. So there is a little bit of water that got in there. No real damage though, so that's a good thing. I'll not sure what this goes to. That goes to, oh, that's the propane for the stove. It's a propane hose for the stove. Okay, well, I've got it out. I'm going to measure it. I'm going to order some new ones, and then I'm going to clean up this caulk and cover this hole up. It's probably a good thing I pulled this out because I think this is a smaller speaker than what I was going to order. And I do not want to have to cut bigger holes into this. Just saying. Okay. While I'm here, this has never worked out here. So I'm going to see if I can reach my hand down in there. No. There's something covering that up. So, can't get down into that. No biggie. Don't really use it anyway. But we do enjoy the outside speakers, though. We do enjoy listening to music. Alright, so I'll check back in on another day when we have the new speakers to install. I think it's going to be relatively simple as long as I find the right size speakers. Oh, one other thing though. I have to have a 12-volt source in order to run the LED lights, the speakers. So I don't know where I would get that at. I may have to figure that out. Alright, so the speakers came in. I ordered them last night and I got them today already from Amazon. Crazy quick shipping. So I'm going to put one in right now and test it out and see how it is. These are the speakers that I ended up ordering. They are Pyle brand. They were cheap. They were only $17, but they got good reviews. So I ended up not going with the LED light or the LED lit ones just because I didn't want to have to run a 12-volt power supply to them to get the LED lights to work. And so I'm going to put one of these in. Supposedly they sound pretty good. I'm sure they'll sound as good, if not better, than what was in there. So the holes are not exactly lining up the same, which kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping they would. But I'll run a bead of white caulk around this once I get done. And first off, I'm going to test it, make sure it works. And I'm going to crimp those wires on there a little tighter. Yep, they are working. Alright, so it's been a couple days since I come back to finish tackling this speaker replacement. It's been so hot. It's just been too hot to do anything other than the things you have to do outside. So let's get this one out and get the new one in. Alright, I got the second one out and I noticed a little water came out with the speaker. It feels dry in here though. So hopefully everything is alright. It was just in the speaker grill. Alright, so let's clean up some of this caulk around the edge and get the new one installed as quickly as we can because it's getting dark. So I'll tell you one thing, it looks to me like the water intrusion is gone through the screw holes. This is one thing that there was no caulk on over the screw heads. So this is one thing I'm going to make sure I do is put caulk over those screw heads to try to keep water from getting in there. All the screws I pulled out of every one of these were rusted, and that's not a good sign. Again, I'm going to put the plumber's putty around all the inside of this here. They're both installed. Now just a little RV sealant crack, caulk, RV caulk.
107, we're done.